Okay, this is the Colorado game post-game reaction outside Memorial Stadium. I was at the game. Wow. You know, first of all, before I get started, let me say this. There was no point in this entire game at which Colorado was going to win this game. I know we all have PTSD going back to like, oh my God, you know, they've come back before. But our defense played this game well enough that, again, at no point were we going to lose this game. I know there's probably going to be a lot of people upset with the students running onto the field. I thought about joining them, but the second half just had to be the biggest shit show of a half that football that I have watched since, if you remember the Texas A&M game years ago, where it was clear the refs were out to screw us in our last season in the Big 12, and the calling was so one-sided. That has to be some of the worst officiating I've ever seen. I mean, it didn't affect the outcome of the game because Nebraska won anyway. It did affect some scoring, big plays. Man, there's so much. This entire day, walking around to tailgates and being at Memorial Stadium, the crowd, I don't think, sat down. Well, in my section, we didn't sit down most of the game, so I'm exhausted. Ty Robinson was an absolute force all of the time he was in the game. I don't know what stats he generated, but he was unblockable. You know, if you want a comparison to Ndamukong Suh, that's the guy, because he just bull rushes, how fast he could get up the field. He was constantly being held, and with no calls. And I concluded, giving some leeway to the referees, the officials, that Colorado's offensive line was too weak to impede his progress. Calls in the second half, they called us for targeting. You know, anytime a quarterback goes into a slide, even if it's really late and you hit him, they're going to probably call targeting because he's defenseless. Does it suck? Yeah, it sucks. Roughing the passer call that they called on Dylan Raiola, where we got that call, that didn't look like roughing, it looked like a makeup call. The holding calls that brought back big plays, that's the equivalent of you could call holding on every play. I think Dylan Raiola did what his coaches asked him to do. He didn't really go for big plays. He took the checkdowns. I know there's probably going to be a lot of complaining about Nebraska's offense in this, but we didn't turn the ball over, and we certainly got that takeaway for the easiest touchdown scored in human history. Now, I haven't looked at any stats. Obviously, I'm still at the game. I don't have much of a voice left, but I don't want to say Nebraska played a complete game because the second half was pretty sloppy. It'll be interesting to see what the coaches say about it. Heinrich Haarberg didn't get in the game. I would have liked to have seen him get a series. Dylan Raiola, the crowd lost focus along with the team in the second half. My arm's getting tired soon. But he did, he tried to get the crowd excited with like a minute left. Everybody wanted him to score one more time. Did it make a difference? No. Did the crowd want blood? Yes. Would have made us all feel better about the second half? Yes. I'm sure there's going to be a lot of complaining from like people that do like me, that get on YouTube or podcasts and wonder what the hell was going on in the second half, or what was going on during the game for the offense. 28-10. I think earlier today I predicted 38-10, so I wasn't that far off. Would have been nice to see some scores from the second half, but it didn't happen. I'll be anxious to see what's said about this game. Here's the thing. The students rushing on the field, I know there's going to probably be people angry about it. Certainly if the announcer was, get off the field, the fans will leave the field, for the safety of players. Don't get caught up in that stuff. I'm sure people are going to say, like, Colorado wasn't worth it, and they kind of weren't. It was really not really that competitive a game. It was ugly at times, but it wasn't very competitive. You know, for all week, didn't we hear shit about how Colorado had great receivers and our defensive backs weren't going to be able to keep up with them? I think we heard that. And then because, oh my God, they're just so explosive. And they really, did you see a single explosive play by Colorado? I mean, we didn't have many, and the ones we had were called back, so they won't be official. Okay, back to the students getting on the field. I'm sure people are going to say, you know, Colorado isn't worth it. They're not a rival. That's Oklahoma. And then they're going to say, act like you've been there before. Well, you know what? Our students haven't been there before. And I think, you know, don't get caught up in that. We won. Be happy about it. It's time for us to stop bitching about everything and just be happy. We won. We beat Colorado handily. And it's a win, and we're 2-0. After all the crap that people have said all week, it wasn't that great a game because Colorado really didn't have anything in them. Let's see. You know, the backs, Gabe Irvin got in late from what I saw. Dante Daldell looked like the best back on the field. It'd be nice sometimes if he would actually cut instead of just run into guys, because he likes to run into guys. I think he would have picked up some more yardage. Our receivers, I don't know what the stats are there, but again, Royola chose the checkdowns on most of those plays, so we didn't have a huge offensive explosion output. But again, it's a win. And it's a win over freaking Colorado. And we talked everybody talked all week. I'll turn this way. The crowd was amazing. The crowd was so loud. I had to wear earplugs throughout this game. I'm probably going to have a migraine tomorrow. But the crowd was amazing through the entire game. It was so loud. I said that, didn't I? I'm running out. I'm exhausted. We stood the entire game. What else could I say about this game? I think I'm about done. It's a win. Be anxious to see what other people say. Let's not get caught up in the negativity of whatever, we might be concerned about Marcus Satterfield and his play calling or how the offense looked in the second half. I think it was fairly conservative game plan. They actually threw the ball more than I thought they would in the first half, but they got it done, and it's a win. I guess the last thing I'll say is you can choose whether to be really happy about this or upset with what happened in the second half. And I'll say, just again, the student stuff, just be happy. We're 2-0, beat Colorado. We don't need to play them again ever. There you go. That's what I got. I hope you're doing well. I hope you had fun. Certainly was a hell of a day going to tailgates and meeting a whole gob of people. And I thank you for your support. I'm going to go lay down now. Go Big Red. I got to come up with a new catchphrase that isn't so dank or dire as there is no hope. Because there's a lot of hope now. Okay, take care.